Let's go to the next part here. Actually, some decent news that we very rarely get to talk about here on the show. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. We had a big endorsement last night from former President Donald Trump on Truth Social. He says, quote, "Crooked Joe Biden has still not visited the incredible patriots of East Palestine. Mayor Pete couldn't get out there fast enough, but that's okay. Our movement will be their voice. We will never forget them. JD Vance has been working hard in the Senate to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. That's why it's so important for Congress to pass his Railway Safety Act. JD's terrific bill has my complete and total endorsement." Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is that this might be one of the few bipartisan areas in modern history where we might actually be able to get something done.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, only 2 months ago, President Biden endorsed the same bill. Put this up there on the screen. Statement from President Biden on the Bipartisan Railway Safety Act of 2023. That was almost immediately released, not only by JD Vance, but we also had Sherrod Brown, who was on there. We had John Fetterman. We had the senators from Pennsylvania. We had a literal, almost equal parts Democrat and Republican bill, Emily, something you almost never see.
On stuff like this, especially.
Especially on stuff like this. But now, we're set up for a major titanic fight. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to Senator Vance on our Thursday show a little bit about this. But what we have to get to the bottom of here is the question of, will the corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats acquiesce to this bill after heavy lobbying by the railway industry? Because this is where it is a crazy bipartisan, nature to regulate them on this front, but also the caucus of people who have taken millions of dollars in donations from the railway industry is both right and left. We already know the Republican chairman of the House Transportation Committee doesn't even want this bill to go forward. From right. I think it's Troy Nehls.
Yeah.
And the reason why is, shocker, libertarian, at least whenever it comes to corporate issues, has long been a beneficiary of donations from the industry.
Yeah.
There are Democrats too, who have taken a lot of this money. And the major block right now is getting the institutional support of right and left behind this bill when we have the crazy situation where the leading candidates in the 2024 race, the literal president of the United States and the ex-president of the United States, are endorsing said bill. Why is this thing not passing tomorrow? There's no reason that it shouldn't be on the floor right now. The only reason it's not is because people like Mitch McConnell and John Thune, corporate Republicans, probably some corporate Democrats too, that are in there are not letting this thing actually come to the floor. And then even then, corporate Republicans who are in the House of Representatives who are holding it up saying that they wouldn't pass it. Why are they standing against Trump? That should be the question.
Actually, but we'll see. Media doesn't want to talk about it in that context, obviously, but you have the heads of both parties, the heads of both parties, as you just mentioned, the former president, the sitting president, but more than that, they're the heads of their respective parties who are in favor of this bill. And I mean, they're National Review editorialized against the bill. John Thune has come out, who's a real, industry guy, and said, oh gosh, no, we don't want to overregulate this industry. We were talking about this just earlier. It's true that there are overly burdensome regulations in rail. It's also true, though, that there's incredibly lenient and lax regulations in rail, and this bill is a perfectly reasonable stopgap measure until we can completely go back to the drawing board, which is essentially what has to happen at this point, because both of those excess regulations and lax regulations are carve-outs from the industry. That's all you need to know at the end of the day. Where it's over-regulated, why is that? Well, it's in many cases because really the big guys know they can hurt any other competitor by screwing around with regulations, and where it's under-regulated, obvious. I don't even need to explain why they would want something to be under-regulated, although you might have to explain it to National Review because they say, well, it's not in their market interest to be under-regulated, to which you obviously would reply, they have a freaking monopoly.
Totally ridiculous. Exactly. Thank you for saying that, which is that, it's in their interest because they have a monopoly. And we also should remember that these have not been responsible corporate entities. Their profits have gone up by billions of dollars in the last decade, at the same time that they've been fighting against paid sick leave, sick time, and vacation time for their hardworking employees, that they've also poured said profits back into the purchase of their stock so that the stock buybacks have made up a massive portion of their balance sheet at the very time that they should have been investing in infrastructure and in technology, which would have prevented possibly the train derailment in East Palestine. But at the very least, look at other countries. Look at Germany. Look at even China. You know, the amount of money that they pour into their railway infrastructure. I'm not saying we all need passenger high-speed rail. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to have rail through which we move dangerous chemicals, maybe we should make sure that they don't spill all the time. It turns out we have 1,000 train derailments or something like that on an annual basis here in the U.S. Compare that on a per capita, per mile versus other countries, and they are laughing at the rest of us, and it's because we don't properly regulate these monopolies. They have to choose. Either we could have a totally free market whenever it comes to railroads, which, by the way, is not possible. In their entire populist episodes in this entire country, in the past of our country, specifically around railroads, monopolies. We're talking about John D. Rockefeller and the power of the railroads and the gouging rates and all of that. Like, we literally had this fight before, and we won, actually. The people won against the monopolists whenever it came to that. Now, though, we seem to have forgotten that lesson. And in the context also of what's happening with the airlines, you know, basically the new transportation monopolized infrastructure, it's like we haven't learned anything. The consumer always loses.
Infrastructure is, yes, the infrastructure is the most basic function of a government. It's like safety, infrastructure, the combination of both of them. And we, to like bridge both of these segments between airlines and rail, we cannot even do the most basic things, despite being one of the wealthiest countries to ever exist on the face of the earth, one of the most technologically advanced societies to ever exist on the face of the earth. We cannot use all of these amazing resources that we have to do basic things anymore, and it's completely tragic.
Right, it really is sad. Anyway, look, good news. Trump endorsed it, so let's get this goddamn thing.
It's huge news, and that's will keep people safe. It genuinely will keep people safe.
Yes, it literally A, could save lives. B, maybe we'll all be a little bit better off knowing that chemicals might not be accidentally spilling, and that big billionaire railroad executives won't be getting fat paychecks while cats are literally dropping dead in East Palestine. We haven't forgotten about that story, and we're going to continue to keep up on it. Like I said, hopefully we'll be able to get Senator Vance, we're working on it right now, in the show on Thursday to discuss the bill.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.